Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Hochstein. I'm the Director of Development here at St. Bernard Academy. Today, I'm excited to be interviewing Mary Margaret Formosa Lambert. She is SBA class of 1957, and she's the next person in our installment of alumni interviews that we're videotaping. So Mary Margaret is a native Nashvilleian. She has been a freelance writer for the Tennessee Register since 1986, and her Pinch of Faith column appears there regularly. She has also compiled a collection of her writings into her first book, which is called Life is Too Short to Wear Beige. So before we dive into talking about your writings, Mary Margaret, can you please tell us a little bit about your path after you graduated from SBA?
Well, Sydney, I'm so glad to finally meet you and to be here being interviewed for my alma mater. When we graduated in 1957 from St. Bernard's, I don't think anybody knew what they wanted to do. I later found out that Sister Marie David had told everybody in my class that she thought they had a vocation and should go in the convent. I thought I was the only one she said that to.
Wow.
I guess she got points for recruiting, and she did get one out of the class.
That's pretty good.
I went on to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and then Peabody College here in Nashville. My career in the business world, I was controller for my family produce business. And then when it closed in 1996, I became the executive administrator for the Diocese of Nashville to the CFO. Oh, and after 3 years with him, I went to the bishop's office at his request, and I served under Bishop Edward Kimmick and Bishop David Chobe as their executive administrator. Oh. And I believe all of this has given me an opportunity to experience a wide variety of challenges and accomplishments in my life. I have successfully balanced my professional career with marriage, motherhood, and being Mima to our 5 outstanding grandchildren.
Well, good. Thank you for that. So how did you get started writing then in the midst of all of that?
I think I came out of the womb writing. I don't know. It's always been something I love to do. I used to write stories when I was a child, and I wrote poetry. I used to write poems to people for every occasion, for birthdays, for trips we went on, for experience we had. They would get a poem. It's just something that I've always liked to do. Yeah. And I used to have my big fat pencil that they don't even sell anymore in elementary school, and my little blue line tablet, and I would write stories on that as soon as I learned cursive writing, which was a real revelation. And then I became feature editor for the St. Bernard newspaper, which is the school paper, the Bernard Courier. You probably got some old issues laying around there somewhere.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And then junior year at St. Bernard's, I was nominated to represent the school at the University of Tennessee Journalism Institute in Knoxville. Wow. I think that was probably the precursor to governor's school. And I met people from all over the state. I kept a diary, and I still journal almost every day. I did start my own poetry business at one time. It was called Keepsake Verses. And I did custom poetry for people on a little script typewriter. And then I went and took calligraphy classes so that I could do them in calligraphy. Wow. So, and now I've written for the Register over 30 years, and I've been a regular for that. I've outlasted 3 editors, so I guess I'm going to stay.
You've been there a while.
I've been there a while. Yes, I have.
Yeah. So talking about your Tennessee Register column, can you talk a little bit about how you find your inspiration for your articles?
Well, they're everywhere. I mean, I think it's like an artist who sees through an artist's eye. I see humor and inspiration in everyday things. And I write them down. I used to keep a tape recorder, but I couldn't get parts for it anymore. It became obsolete. So now I found out I can do that on my cell phone, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So if I have a moment, I just kind of tell it to my phone, and then I can go back and reference that. I can honestly say I've never experienced writer's block in all the years I've been writing. And my husband never knows what I'm writing about in the register. Nobody does until it comes out. So it's always
you keep it a secret. Okay.
It keeps people on their toes. Everybody around me is like, you're going to write about this. And then Irma Bombeck was a big inspiration. She was my salvation when I was raising a family. She always made me laugh. And I identified with her outlook on family life. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate to go to her Irma Bombeck workshop in Dayton, the University of Dayton, 3 years ago. Oh, wow. And I met all kinds of writers and learned all kinds of new technology in writing. And some of it is a little above my head, but I picked up a lot of information.
So speaking of inspirations for your writing, who would you say was your biggest influencers in your writing career, either when you were a kid or when, as an adult?
The written word was always important, and one of my grandmothers was a stickler for good penmanship. So she made me practice the Palmer method. When everybody else was out playing, I was inside practicing my handwriting, which I hated at the time, but I'm grateful for. But as far as creative writing, my freshman teacher in English at St. Bernard's was Sister Amora. And as I look back now, I see she wasn't that much older than us, but as a nun, we thought she was ancient.
Yeah.
And she encouraged me to write. She saw that I had a natural talent and affinity for it. She would give us in class, she would give us subjects just out of the blue and tell us to write an essay right there in class. Wow. And people groaned and moaned, and I was so excited. I was still writing when everybody else was finished.
Yeah.
And so when I got my book published, I had located her several years ago. She was no longer a nun, and she lived with her sister in Florida. And I talked to her on the phone, and I sent her a copy of my book and stayed in touch with her until she passed away a year and a half ago.
Wow. So
she was the one that really, I would say, was instrumental in me writing.
It's incredible that even, all these years later, she still had such an impact on you and your writing.
That's what I try to tell teachers. You don't know what a lasting impact you're going to have on a student.
Yeah.
If you see something in a student that you think needs to be nurtured, by all means, do that. Yeah. Because it could change their life.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really incredible. So we talked a little bit about your column in the Tennessee Register. Tell us more about how you came to put a book together, and tell us more about your book, please.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So you'll see it.
It's so colorful. I love it.
My granddaughter designed the cover. Oh. I told her I wanted a lot of color in it, and she came up with this, and she did some of the illustrations, and actually one of my grandsons did one, and then I have a friend who did some. So it was a labor of love, and it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
It seemed that it was never the right time. When I was younger, I was involved in raising a family, and then I had my career, and I still wrote my columns, but I just couldn't get this book done. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, I just sat down and started doing it, and it came together, and people were very receptive to it, and it's been a real, and I have number 2 book under construction,
Oh, awesome.
but my computer crashed in February, and everything that I thought was backed up was not.
Oh no.
So I lost everything.
Oh, that
So
made my heart just drop. That's awful.
it was awful, and it's been
Oh,
a trauma that I've had to deal with because I've had to
yeah.
reconstruct a lot of stories.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I kept my articles on the thumb drive, so I still have those, but
Yeah.
I
Oh,
had done 3 chapters on the second book, so now I've got to go back and
oh man.
redo that. Yeah.
Heartbreaking. Oh,
Now,
I'm
the
sorry.
book, if you haven't heard about it, it's divided up into topic chapters,
Okay.
and they are from past columns. And each chapter includes insights and observations on nature, marriage, family life, illnesses, and personal tragedy. But it's not maudlin. It's done with humor and insight.
Yeah.
It's not a book you can pick up and read quickly, but one that you can pick up and enjoy several different times and share with your family and friends.
Yeah.
The reader will probably identify with a lot of my experiences. I had a friend who bought 7 books at Christmas, one for all of his children, and so I personalized those. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's
Oh,
been good.
yeah. I love that you could kind of just pick it up wherever you're at in life and
Yeah, you can read
maybe
a
find,
short.
yeah,
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 so it's easy
yeah,
easy to read, not anything deep.
gotcha. So if people were interested in purchasing your book, where would they be able to find it?
Well, I have a website, MaryMargaretLambert.com,
Okay.
um, which I need help with because I'm not good at website designing. So I need some help with that. It's kind of plain, but I
Okay,
do
so if
take,
any of our listeners can
yes,
help
if
with
you're
that,
into
reach out to
web
Mary Margaret.
design, I would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
But I do take PayPal, so they can go on that website and order it, and then I'll ship it to them, or I can deliver it if they're local.
Okay.
And then Bellmead Plantation Gifts Bookstore has it, and St. Mary's Bookstore. I had signings at both of those places,
Okay.
and they've
Great.
been really, really good to me.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you. So as we kind of wrap up here, I was interested if you could just share maybe 1 or 2 of your favorite memories from your time here at SBA.
How long do we have?
Just a couple minutes.
Well, I started kindergarten at St. Bernard's when I was 3 years old. Yeah, 3.
Wow. Wow.
It was during wartime. It was in the well, I don't want to say what year it was because everybody knows how old I am. But my dad was stationed in California, and my mother went out there to be with him, and I stayed with my paternal grandparents. And I had 2 older cousins that were at St. Bernard's, and I wanted to go to school with them.
Yeah.
So my grandmother took me to St. Bernard's, and she told Sister Mary Agnes, who was principal then, she said, this child wants to go to school, and she's already reading and trying to write her name. And so Sister said, well, we'll put her in kindergarten and see how she does. Well, I did fine. And I started first grade when I was 4, and I graduated.
Wow.
I graduated at 16 and started college at 16.
Oh my.
Yeah. I was so excited when I got out of elementary school and got to go up to the 3rd floor to high school. I thought that was the epitome of success.
Yeah.
But when I was in 3rd grade there, I was chosen for the lead in the Christmas play, Susanna's Christmas Auction. I was Susanna. I think the only reason they picked me was because everybody could hear me. My voice is always.
You were loud enough.
I was loud enough. And after I was in that play, I thought, I'm going to go to Broadway and be a star on the stage. That didn't happen.
You're the star of a different stage.
I am. But algebra was challenging in high school, and so was Latin. We were required to take 2 years of Latin, and then foreign language. And then home ec was always a big challenge for me. I was not very domesticated, but yet I went on to major in that when I got to college. So
Oh man.
all that happened from St. Bernard's.
Wow. I love hearing some of these memories. It's a lot of fun.
Well, the friendships that I've made there over the years still are strong today. In fact, one of my dear friends started out in kindergarten with me at St. Bernard's, and we're still close friends.
Wow. So as our last question in our interview today, I was wondering if you could give any advice to some of our students or other, students around here, what would that be?
Well, given the current situation in our nation, in our world, the first thing I would tell students or anyone is be kind to everyone. We have varying opinions from everything from politics to wearing face masks. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different opinions, but do it respectfully and be kind to people. Make every moment count in your life. Learn all you can. Put away your iPhone and write notes to people rather than texting all the time. I told somebody the other day, everybody's taking all these pictures on their iPhones everywhere they go, and they're posting them on Facebook. 50 years from now, where are these pictures going to be? The iPhones will be obsolete and the pictures will be gone. So yeah. I think the written word is still going to be important. And if you keep a journal and write something in it every day, even if it's just about the weather, and get in that habit, it will become priceless for you in years to come.
Right.
And if you do something you love, you will never work again a day in your life. And that is so true. And I wish now, in retrospect, that I had gone into journalism major when I went to college. But this was 1957. Girls didn't become journalists. Girls became secretaries, nuns, nurses, mamas. We didn't have careers in aeronautics and legal profession. There's so much out there. So what you love to do, pursue that with your whole heart and don't let anybody deter you from it.
That's great advice. I love that. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview and telling us a little bit more about yourself and your life after SBA. I've really enjoyed it.